Welcome back, YouTubers. I'm going to do a little quick breakdown and assembly of the CZ75 SP-01. As you may have seen in my last video, I try to make an assumption based off of how other firearms work, and I missed one little key part that enabled me to actually do a breakdown right away. So I'm going to correct that. For once, I did the right thing, read the instruction manual first. It's a very simple breakdown actually. It is pretty similar to everything else. Safety check the weapon. Magazine's empty. You're going to have an empty chamber. Visually and physically inspect it. I know I have a safe firearm. It's released. Now, what I failed to do last time, I mentioned a couple of lines that need to be matched up in order to break down. On this particular gun, you need to actually bring the hammer back into a half-cocked position. That's what the difference was. Then you line those two dots up, and now you're able to press the slide stop release out. So I'm going to do this with my cross hand so you can see what I'm doing. Now this is fairly stiff, and trying to push that slide catch lever out, you just need to use the bottom of your magazine. Mine has a nice little plastic casing on it, and that will actually release, or start to release I should say, the slide catch, which now you can pull straight out, and now you can have the slide come forward and it'll release. So this is going to be a basic field stripping. Again, you have your frame, your lower end there. The upper is fairly simple. You have a recoil spring. Just take some of the tension off of the spring. Be careful because it is not a captured system. It will fly away. Has a plastic guide rod, a little bit of flex to that. Let's see how well that holds up over the number of rounds I intend to put through this thing. So set that aside, and then you have the barrel. Now I've already gone through my cleaning process, or degreasing process I should say. Got rid of all the grease that most guns, new guns, are packed with from the manufacturer. Sit there for long-term storage. The only problem is all that grease has a tendency to really capture a lot of the carbon and just dirt that you get from firing the gun. Kind of turns it into a sandy, gritty material, which will really gum your firearm up if you don't get that off of there. So I went ahead, cleaned everything out, lubed it up with my favorites. I'm still a big fan of the old classic Hops No. 9. Good solvent, seems to do a good job. I use Miltech 1 oil for oiling it up, and when I have some of the hard metal-to-metal contact points, especially along the slide to frame fit, things like that, I like to use the Wilson Combat Ultra-Lube grease. Seems to really do a good job, and that stuff, you can still find that stuff in there after hours and hours of shooting hundreds of rounds and never feel as if it's not properly lubricated. Reassembly, very simple. Again, barrel goes in first. Nice couple little locking lugs there. Just feel that until it gets into place. Again, the spring is loose, so again, be careful on how you do it. At the very tip, the end of the guide rod is a little nipple, and that little nipple actually matches. Now, where you can see that there's a little divot right here at the front of that lug that you can actually put that nipple into, and that's how you know you have your guide rod fully in place. And give it a little bit of a shake. It shouldn't be sliding because it's actually, the nipple is in place and captured. Alright, after that, everything else just goes in reverse. Get your frame and slide fit. Again, squeeze back until you've lined up the two lines that are right here. It's going to be on the left hand side of the gun, and what you do then is you go ahead and reinsert your slide catch here. Snaps into place, and function check it a few times. Nice and lubed up. Hammer's back into place. Everything seems to be working fine. Safety works nicely, and you're good to go. So that is the disassembly reassembly of the CZ75 SP-01. Alright, hope that helped a little bit. Have a good one.